Welcome to a new episode of Skyfallen's programming tutorials. This is a New Year's special, so we decided to go with a different concept and try to teach you Python in 15 minutes. So we'll start with functions. Functions actually allow us to do something. They trigger an action. So we can just note this. I'll put this file on the site as well. This is basically what they do. They take arguments, but let me just show you how a function looks. An example can be print function. This function allows us to print a text or a number. That was a reminder for me. And no worries, I don't have COVID. So this is print function. It takes an argument, and we put the argument in between the parentheses. Make sure you put parentheses after functions, that's also worth mentioning, and we can put arguments within those parentheses. For example, we can put a text, and that would be printed. Or we can put a variable, which brings us to our next topic. We will say variables store data. To define a variable, we just need to get a name. For example, name can be variable. A variable, let's say. And we'll just give it a value, which is, for example, hi. Note that I put quotes next to the text. This is called strings, and strings are wrapped between quotes, which indicates that these are text to the programming language, which is Python. We can also put texts, in numbers, a number variable. This is 9. So variables can also store numbers. But please note something, that a text number, let's just call it a text number variable. This is not the same thing as the one on top. Note that this is different, yes. Let's just put this here as well. So if I were to compare these two, these wouldn't be equal. But this, there's also one more thing. We can't compare it, we can't do number operations like this. We can't do addition, subtraction, or anything here. So let's go ahead. We can now see the Boolean variables. These variables actually have two values, just two. It is either false or true. It's just like logical conditions. You know what? I need to check something. Okay, I'm recording audio and started recording. That's great. So, what we can do is use these for logical operations. We can say a condition, just say true. Of course, T is going to be capital. Or we can say another condition can be false. You'll see how we can use this in a sec. So now we have some structures. Here are the basic ones. We can say if and put a condition, and if only this condition is met, the following code will run. So we can say if a condition, we can say print. Remember, we can use functions, and we can also put variables inside the functions. parameter, so we can say just a variable. And if you have paid attention, we put indents before code that should be within the block. The reason is, if we don't put this, the programming language has no way of understanding if it's inside the block or outside the block. So just make sure that you put indents within the blocks. And also something that's worth noting is that if you don't put an indent on the next line and again put an indent here, oops, and this won't be a part of the condition and will give you an error saying that's an unexpected indent. You can also go many layers deep, so you can just say if another condition, and we could indent one bit more and say print nope. Let's just say print nope, because that won't be ever printed since our condition is false. So, but like till now, we haven't done something that just has some kind of logic. So let's do something that has some logic. We can have logical statements. We have a few symbols. Double equals to mean if equal. We have the greater than or the smaller than. We also have smaller or equal or the other way as well. So we can use all of these to build a logical statement. For example, let's just put a comment tag before these. So in case I'd like to run this code, just in a sec, we can go ahead and let's just put a space so that they look better. We can now say if and let's just put a condition instead of set value and say a number variable is smaller than 10. Then we can say condition is met. So let's just run the code now. Let me run. Okay, so we have a few inputs. Let's just match these. Text is actually the function example that I had given here with a no condition. We have variables. These don't do anything. These just set the values. And we have no parentheses or anything. We just have an equal sign. Note that we don't have anything at the end of the lines. It's just new lines. Then we print out hi, which is the command here. We put a variable here, and when we referenced it, it actually pulled the data from here. So we printed the variable. We can go ahead and see what we have, what else we have. You can see that we didn't print nope because the another condition is equal to false. So this didn't do anything. Let's see what has happened here. So we said a number variable is smaller than 10. It should say condition is met, which is right here. So it does. So let's just say if it's bigger than 10. Let's just run it once more. It didn't print it out. So let's see what we can do. So if I were to go ahead and make this 11, this code will run and say our condition was met. This is great. So, but like we don't have any operations and no variable is changed, so we can go ahead and do something else. We can do mathematical operations. So let's just mathematical operations. Great. So we have plus, so we can say x equals to 6, and we can say y equals to 10. And we can have a z value, which can be 6 times 10. This means multiplying. We can have the q variable as, for example, 6 plus, 6 plus 10, or and v yeah, let's just have this. Then we can have 6 minus 10. It can have negative integers, or we can have n and say 10 divided by x. And we can put variables here as well. So we can say y minus 10. We can say, instead of putting y or x, we can just say 10, or we can just put this variable here as well. So this is the basic these are the basic operations. So, but as you can see, there is no way to put the square root. So what we can do is create our own function. So our own functions. Let's say def. This is the keyword we use for defining functions. So let's give it a name. Let's say get square root. And let's say we need to get an argument here, which is our number. So this number variable will be available within our function block, and we can say our result, which can be a new variable, equal to number, because this is how we get number squared. We put the number, and we put an asterisk or star, what you call it, and this should give us the result. But we can't get the result in any way, because this result is only available within this code block. So there's a solution for that. We will use another block, what do you call, keyword, to say return. This will return our result. But as you can see, we don't know, we haven't used any way to get something that function returns. So we can say getting return values. So we can just say, we can go ahead as usual, get the print statement, and put our own function inside of here. So this is great. What this does is, it will get what this returns and put it here, just like a variable. We can also assign this to, for example, squared result. Let's just create a new variable called squared and get squared. What's our number? Let's say it's 10. So this will get us the value of this. We can also do this just without creating a useless variable. We can just put this inside and as an argument as well. So let's run. See, we have 100. But what if we don't want what if we don't want it squared? So we can use loops to repeat it as much as we can do. So let's say while and for. I'll not go into how for works. So it's a bit complicated in Python, and if not complicated, it's a bit long, so we won't discuss that here. In while, it's just like if, but when condition is met, it will keep repeating. So let's just put true here to see it just loops forever. So I can say print hey. So if I were to run this code, it will just print out hey forever, unless we give it a condition. Let's create an empty variable. Let's say 0. Then what we can do is, while I variable, it's called just for short for increment. Let's say while it is smaller or equal to 10, and say just print hey, and then make I go up every time. Just increment it 1, so that it's only run 10 times, and when we're done with 10 times, it's just over. See? And note that it's probably 11. Let me just count it quickly. Yes, it's exactly 11. The reason is we start from 0, we're not starting from 1. So if you were to put 10, this will give us 10. Or we could either do this and still keep the 0. This should also work as well. So we learned a great way to do something pretty simple. Let's see what we can do, what else we can do. So let's just combine and create our own function and the while loops. to get power of any number. So let's create def get power. Just call the function get power. We need the number, and this time we also need the exponent. So we'll put the exponent here. We'll say again I equals to 0, which is our increment value. We then say while, instead of saying I equals to a known number, we can just say exponent. Remember, what the number we put here will be the exponent of this. Just note that this will only work with integer exponents. We'll need to create a result variable again. So let's just say result equals to 1. Because if we make it 0, the number will always be 0. So what we will do is say result equals to result equals result times number. So this should get us the exponent. Let's try return, and this is going to return our result. So let's go ahead and say we need to do like this, and then we can say get power and 3 to the third power. So let's see what happens. And let me just see why it didn't work. Let's just remove all of these. This prints hey. Let's just debug to quickly see the problem. So because E is not incremented, it will just go on forever. And it's still running. So we forgot to do this. E should be incremented every time. So if I were to run the code again, it returns 27, which is great. So we can also put 2 to the third power. This will work as well. Or we can put crazy numbers like 27 and like put it, for example, just have it 4 times so that it's not a really crazy number, and we can see that it actually works. Great. So this is it. Thanks for watching our video. Let's see how many minutes it has been. It's been 17 minutes, which is a great success. So thanks for watching. See you on another episode. Bye.